Today is Wednesday, November 20th. Welcome to my daily review. You're looking at a daily chart of the Nasdaq, which was down 21 points today, or 0.11%, 0.11%, with 14% above this 50 average daily volume here, which has really picked up since the election here. We've seen a lot of trading, more money coming into the market here. If you look at the daily action on the Nasdaq today, I'll take a look at the 5-minute chart. And here's the action today. This is the 19th, right? And then the 20th opens up. 19th was a nice day, right? Right? Sold off on that news, the geopolitical news. Then today it just sold off right at the open. Looked like this is gonna be a real tough day, but then look at the close, buying right into the close. So that's what we like to see. Turned a big loss into just a, muted day, actually. 21 points is nothing. Anyway, it's closed above its moving averages here. If we zoom in and take a look, you can see this is the 21 here, and this is your 5. I changed it to the 5 because I want to show some leading stocks and how they're responding to their 5 EMA. But anyway, the Nasdaq closed 0.1% above the 5, 0.9% above the 21, and 3.2% above this rising 50. So that's all very healthy action there. Even though there was a pullback today, it's not going to go up every day. Above the moving averages is fine. Nasdaq looks good. Anyway, I've got to go to the Dow Jones Industrial Average because this index was up today. It was the leading index of the day. Yippee! It did pull back to its 21 and bounced today. There you can see the sell-off, and I've showed this over and over and over again. This little bull wedge where stocks, mostly I show you stock where it pulls back to moving averages and then pops. And now the Dow Jones is 2% above the rising 50 and 0.6% above the 21, and it just closed right there at the 5. So that looks pretty good. The SPY, kind of like the Nasdaq here, just kind of pulled back now above the moving averages there. It closed right at the 5. If I can zoom in there. Yeah, 0.7% above the 21 and 2.2% above the 50. And then the IWM, which desperately wants more rate cuts, pulled back once again, kind of like the Dow, pulled back to the 21 and now popped a little bit, closed at the 5. That's good. 0.9% above the 21, 3.5% above the rising 50. So all these indexes look good. They look healthy. There's nothing wrong with this current rally. It looks really good. Anyway, I'm going to go to some of the stocks that reported earnings last night and this morning. And there were some really ugly responses here. This is POWL, Powell Industries. They reported, pretty good quarter, but, 32% isn't good enough when you had 50% the quarter before and 53%. So I got a little bit of a haircut today, 16%, but all it really did is pull back to its 50 and back to where it traded, about, I don't know, maybe in here. What was this? October 23rd. So yeah, get back a couple weeks of gain. So it's trading here. If you want to look at it, realistically, it's trading here. Maybe some short covering, a little bit too excited going into earnings. Earnings come, and it just comes right back to where it was trading before. So nothing, no harm done here, unless you bought it up here on this ascent, and now you're underwater. So that's why we like buying closer to bases here, something like that. Yeah, 200 area. Anyway, not coin, keys and coin. Okay. KEYS, if I could type properly, they reported nice response here. This one was up nearly 9% today with, good volume. So that's a nice move. A bounce off the 200. And we'll take a look at the weekly here. Yeah, this looks like it's trying to break out of a stage 1 base. So Keysight Technologies, nice response. Of course, the one this morning that everyone's talking about is Target. What's going on with Target? I don't know. Walmart obviously had a strong report yesterday. Costco, and Walmart are probably eating their lunch. Target's been, they got stuff behind glass cases like CVS, and we saw what happened there. Whereas Walmart's, delivering, goods to people. So Target either needs to change or maybe change management. They need some forward-thinking people in there. But anyway, 21% haircut, that really hurts. Unless you own it long term. I mean, if you've owned it since, 2008 or whatever, this thing's fine. But they do need to change some things at Target. The one good thing that came from the Target earnings report was that beauty was up 6%. So I immediately thought of Elf, right? Elf sells at Target, but nope, look at the action in Elf today after that report. It just sold off hard down to like, I think it was like 102. It was down near 100 early in the morning. What is that? 10, yeah, 102, and then bought into the close. Really nice move from 102, closing at 119. So, that's like a 15% move or so. Uh, but in the session it's down, and of course it's in a stage four decline, which means to kind of stay away from it here until it forms a base. There's your stage one, there's your stage two, there's your stage three, where it can no longer move higher, and then your stage four decline. But these stocks, they decline and then they form a base and then they start another stage higher. So don't give up on ELF just because it's in a stage four decline. At some point, it'll form a bottom, it'll form a base, and if they keep delivering good earnings, they'll be rewarded eventually. But anyway, Target really, man, negative report there. Beauty was the one bright spot. Wix, man, look at this perfect textbook, breakout alert I posted this morning on Twitter as it pulled back to its 21 here. Earnings came in and it popped 14%. That's just textbook action there from its right through pivot power from the pivot here for Wix at 178 area as it pulled back. Oh man, just a beautiful textbook move, 14% with massive volume. That is a move not to be ignored. Um, for a lot of software stocks are doing well. I'm going to get to those in a minute. Williams Sonoma also reported. If you've ever shopped there, you know how expensive Williams Sonoma is. But nice pop here. The CEO has got it going on. It caters to kind of like higher end cookware stuff, and obviously they're doing well. 27% move with 400% above average daily volume. So that's another stock not to be ignored. Yeah, just power from the pivot through all the moving averages. You can see the RS line just heading due north, man. So that to me is it's not only a sign of strength, but an indicator that maybe it's time to buy that stock or at least put it on your watch list. So DY, this is Dicom. It did the opposite of Williams Sonoma, down what 13% with volume here. So not a good move. The only positive I could say about Dicom is it closed above its 200, which is little consolation. If you own this thing, that's a tough move there, down 13% and still above its 200. But anyway, the last one I want to share is GLB because it's a happy story. Want to end on the positive path here. It was up 12%. You can see it close near the lows of the daily range there, the lower quartile, which I don't like personally, but you can't argue with the move, a 12% move with 530% above average daily volume. If we look at the weekly here, yeah, this is just one of those IPOs from 21 going through its institutional due diligence phase. Maybe it'll start its advanced phase now above this level here. So you got to kind of watch these things. Yeah, nice move. Not RS line, the earnings line heading north, the stock's heading north, the relative strength line is heading north. So a lot of positives for global online. All right, I'm going to move on to, I've got to talk about the crypto names because this is the story of the market. Um, MicroStrategy, they announced today again, they did a secondary and with zero interest, and they didn't added to it today. I think it went from 1.75 to 2.6 billion, and he's just going to turn around and buy Bitcoin with it. So he'll probably announce next week that he bought X amount of Bitcoin. So this is just on a parabolic run. There's no rhyme or reason. You can't look at valuation or anything. I know some people were DMing me today about the taxes and Michael Saylor's. That has nothing to do with this move here. All right, this is just demand eating up supply, and that's it. Pretty simple. It's Econ 101, when your demand outstrips your supply, it's going higher. So I don't know where this thing stops. I know some people were disappointed today because it hit 500 and got rejected. The thing was still up 10%. I mean, I think people get a little spoiled there. Yeah, it hit 504 and then pulled back and then it closed at 35% of the daily range. But, and I know there's gaps in that chart here, but to me, when you don't get in the way of something like this. I mean, you don't even think about shorting it. And if you want to long it, you got to wait for some sort of something like that, a day or two of digestion. And it'll pull back. Maybe that 500 will be, a time for the moving averages to catch up. But MicroStrategy, I believe Michael Saylor will be like Bill Gates and Steve Jobs and Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk and some of these CEOs that have been real big winners. Jensen, of this current bull market, this guy could be the biggest winner, like a Jeff Bezos, be one of the richest people in the world. If Bitcoin trades up to what, some of the, more positive people would think, more optimistic people. So he's putting his money where his mouth is. He's putting all his chips into Bitcoin and it's paying off so far. So you can't argue with him. That move is just just the one for the record books. Anyway, Coinbase, I like Coinbase, and I don't think I put it on my ready list today. I was going to, but I didn't. I think the only one I put on was Bros. But anyway, it's got that 283 buy point. It had this failed breakout, pulled back to it, ran up, now just had a couple of stall days. Today looks like a bearish engulfing. Let's see what happened here today. I don't know if there was news or not. A gapped higher while the index gapped lower and then sold off the rest of the day. So not a great day for coin, but I'm going to keep my eye on this one. Hood is another one in the crypto space. Looks really good, making new highs every day. Wow, it's at 36 now. Man, I remember we had on our Reddit list about what, 20, 21. Anyway, that's what happens in a bull market, an uptrend. Like I say, these some of these stocks are life changing, if you play them right and get big size and big moves, and that's the way to make the big money. Anyway, Square, pretty sure I have this one on the ready list. This one's just it made a move out of this base here. I got to look at the weekly chart, and now it's kind of pulled back. It's still up on the week, but you can see here this stage one base, and it's just starting this move higher. It's still up 6% this week, so you can't scoff at that. It just got it's only been 3 days this week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Last week the high was 90, this week 93. So higher highs, higher lows. This one's just pushing away from that base, stage one base. Oh, and SMLR, another one of these crypto names, it just drives me crazy. Once again, made this big move. What did it do? It just pulled back below its 5. This one probably pulled back to the 10. It popped only 28% today with 800% above average daily volume. So another one to watch and buy on pullbacks. Reddit. I'm going to go to the internet content or content stocks. And this is one of the stronger stocks, one of the IPOs this year of 2024. New merchandise is being bought. Once again, this green line here. This is why I switched to the green line, because these strong stocks are being supported at the 5. Yeah, they pull back, they undercut it, but eventually, trade higher, a little teeter-totter. It's not the end of the world if they look below it for a day or two. And then, but trending, the trend is higher. The trend is with the 5. Okay. So that's, to me, Reddit is it's people say, oh, it's way overvalued. It's 24 billion market cap, with 1.5 billion in sales. I don't care. I mean, the market's looking forward. It's looking, 6, 9 months ahead and sees good things for Reddit going forward. So that's I just take it one day at a time, play what's in front of me, and Reddit looks good. Since I'm in the internet content group, I got to show Meta. I like Meta. It's trading tight within a base. It's below the 50. I realize that, but it's just consolidating and trading tight within that base. So I like Meta there. I'm not going to put it on the ready list below the 50 though. And then Google, I like a little better. Why? Well, because it's trading above the 21 here. It's consolidating in this kind of a later stage base here, but you can see on the weekly this cup with handle. Inside week this week, even though it's up 2%, yeah, Google looks really good. So those are three stocks that I like in the internet group. And I'm going to move on to software. I mentioned software names. I got quite a few of them that I really like. Datadog is one. Man, yeah, up 3% after hours on Snowflake's quarter. So anyway, Datadog, I got to go to the weekly to show this because this has been consolidating. It had this cup with handle coming out of the bear market, made a move, but now it's just been consolidating, right? It made this move from November of last year up to, February of this year to 137. It's been consolidating since February, and now it's trying to poke above that old buy point there, 138. So yeah, I like Datadog here. On the daily, it's 134.80. It closed above it today. So yeah, Datadog is going to go on our ready list, I believe, for tomorrow. I like the looks of that stock. I like it trading a little tighter, a little closer to moving averages, but as mixing, you can't always get what you want. We get what we need. App, man, people are just saying. I did trim app. It was 14% a couple weeks ago. I got it down to 10, and now today I trimmed it down to 5% because I want to let winners run, but I also want to be I don't want to be greedy. This thing's way above its five. It's 6% above the five. 88% above the 50. That stuff doesn't I went through this yesterday. I'm not going to go through this every day. I still think it has a few weeks to go in this uptrend. It's been what we counted 11 weeks. And so I'm just going to stick with that. And if it falters, I can sell my last 5%. This one I think is done with its run. Not done forever. It's just going to form a base here. Maybe pull back to the 21 and stall out for a couple weeks. But it made the high of 66, and I think it's time for that one to pull back. Once again, broke out of the base, and it's been, we counted them yesterday, it was 16 or 17 weeks, something like that. Anyway, yeah, it's down 5.5% this week. So, you can't get greedy in the market. I know Gordon Gekko says greed is good, and sometimes you do have to go big size on stocks that are moving like MicroStrategy, but this one's more of a steady Eddie. It's got a big supply base. So yeah, I think, that's enough. 16, 17 weeks. Anyway, I digress. Twilio broke out of a base following its earnings report right here. That's as clean as a whistle, man. Textbook as you're going to get right here. What is that? 78 something? I can't see anymore, but anyway, $78, and it just powered through the pivot. You see these big blue volume bars. That's not Aunt Sally buying. So what did it do? It ran up, made a high, and then pulled back. So you got to wait for that pullback. I don't know if you want to chase here, but it did pull back. It ran up to 101, pulled back below its five, down to 94. Now today popped above its five at 2%. So might have a little resistance there at that 100 level, but definitely a strong stock, one that I like. And yeah, I'm sorry I missed that breakout, but that's the way it goes. You can't kiss all the babies. Spotify, another one that people are driving me crazy with it. It's climax top. You got to sell it. And everybody's got to have their own style, and I get it. When stocks go up, whenever stocks go up, people think, oh, it broke its upper channel line. It's once again, though, this thing broke out of its base September 20th. So around the time of App 11, maybe a week later, and then popped hard last week on its earnings report. Yeah, it may have broken its upper channel line if you're looking at a daily chart, but on the weekly, once again, I still think this like App 11 has a couple weeks to go. But it's always prudent to trim and donate to your favorite charity or local church or whatever. All this thing did though is run up last week on earnings to 489, then pull back to its five, found support at the five and bounce. And that's what you want to see in leading stocks. And that's why I put the five there. Oh yeah, DUOL, Duolingo, they also reported recently, sold off a little bit, pulled back to the 21, and now it ramped higher, made a new high today, 331. So closed at 93% of its daily range. This is doing nothing wrong. Once again, this is where the breakout came. It didn't come during the earnings report. Back here, September. So, okay. So these are getting, long in the tooth, but still, I think have a couple more weeks left in them. That's, you know, my professional opinion. GoDaddy, once again, broke out of this base. Now, this one just broke out of a base. Okay. So all the people who are at me, you can stuff it. I like GoDaddy. I own GoDaddy. Broke out of this base here. Was in the base 4%, 5% here this week here, nearly a 9% move, right? And with volume, and that was only a couple weeks ago. So I think this one has room to run. Probably have resistance at 200. I'm not saying buy it here, buy it when it pulls back to the 5 though, couple of days, right? These embrace these little dips here when it pulls back. Once again, there's before the breakout here on this date, before the breakout, it had that same pattern that I've showed over and over and over again. You got to be familiar with this, little bull wedge pattern. Yeah, it sold off. It sold off for a whole week, 5 days in a row. Big deal. It just pulled back to a moving average and then popped, and now it's running. So, 159 to 190, we'll take that, all day long. What is it doing this week, by the way? Yeah, it's up 4% this week. So, yeah, that's no, yeah, I don't know. I don't know why I let people bother me. Um, All right, DoorDash, one that I like. I really like DoorDash. And finally, it broke below its 5, right? So you're thinking, man, this thing's going to crash and burn. But nah, if you'll indulge me for a minute, I will change it back to the 10. I know I said strong stocks find support at the 5, but it just pulled back a little bit. Um, Gosh darn it, Marty. This is why I don't like toggling back and forth. There's the 10, 171.32. So it, closed right about the 10 today. 53% of the daily range. It's a pullback. You got to embrace pullbacks. And if it pulls back tomorrow to like the 21, I think that might be a chance to get in. But we'll see. DoorDash has been super strong. These food stocks are hit and miss now. A lot of them have been selling off, even though the retail numbers were strong and it showed that people are eating out at restaurants. And my theory is that the boomers are going out and whining and dining, traveling around the country. Um, there's only a few of them that are doing well right now. And Dutch Bros is one. We know Dutch Bros is taking market share from Starbucks. I did put this on my ready list. Why? Well, because it ran up after its earnings report. I don't know, a couple weeks ago, right here, this day, textbook breakout above, its downtrending line here. Broke out and then ran up to 50 something, 50 to $50 and like 24 cents. Yeah, 50.24, and all it did is pull back. Ooh, the low here of the day was 43.50, pull back to 43.62, and that's why I tell you to watch that. It didn't fall back into the gap zone, ran back up, but got support at the 5, and that's what's important. It got support at the 5, and today it popped nearly 6%. So, and it closed at 89% of the daily range. I know some of you told me that you picked up Dutch Bros today just because you want to diversify from crypto and software and NVDA and Tesla. So I think that's a good diversion or a good diversification stock. I think Dutch Bros, if you're a longer term holder, I think this one could be a real big winner. If we look at the IPO base, this is just all your due diligence, institutional due diligence right through here. That's all this is. And now it's broken out of that due diligence and hitting its advanced stage. I think it goes much higher. 60, 70, 80, why not? It's going to report strong quarters quarter after quarter, I believe, because they're taking market share. So that's my thesis on Bros, and I'm sticking to it. CAVA, I sold CAVA because I don't like the earnings reaction. It didn't do really anything wrong, but this has had a big move. That earnings reaction just bugged me. 172, and then it pulled back down to 135. So I think there's just better merchandise in the market. I like CAVA. It's had a big run though, and yeah, that bar last week just did it for me. But anyway, 19% off its high because that, I don't know. longer term, it's probably going to do well. I just think short term, you can do better. Brinker International, Chili's and Maggiano's. This thing is just surfing its five, and that's why you want to see those strong stocks, surfing the five in a strong bull market. That's what strong stocks, leading stocks are going to do. And this is certainly the leading stock in your restaurant group. So anyway, I'm going to move on from restaurants and get to the exciting stuff. Aerospace, defense, and some insurance names. This is a Howmet once again, got that bull wedge pattern back to the 50 right here, then popped, and now it's riding its five. I mean, that's textbook stuff right there. Looks good. FTAI, another one of these aerospace defense names. Yeah, riding the five. We like that. I don't have any aerospace defense stocks, I must admit, but I'm just pointing this out. Strength here. Strong stocks riding their five. I never hear anybody say, oh, this defense stock is extended. No, it's just the software names, the popular ones that people are following, Spotify and AppLovin. But nobody will say that about this. And this one certainly is just as extended as MicroStrategy or AppLovin. Yeah, 218% above the 200. So yeah, just throwing that out there. That's all. Anyway, I'm going to move on to more exciting stuff, the insurance names. Lemonade, this is a heavily shorted insurance stock. Definitely broke out from that 24.55 area and then some. Did these, same little pattern here. If you've been following this, ran up, then pull back, ran up, then pull back, ran up, then pull back. Supported at the 5 every time. So that's why, I put that 5 out there. This is one nobody talks about, but 114% above the 50, but it's not extended, but AppLovin is. Anyway, I'm just being a smart ass now. It's an insurance stock for crying out loud. This is a Gallagher consolidating nice within a base. I was going to put this one on the red list too as a pullback to 21, but I didn't because I'm not really thrilled with the insurance stocks right now. I just got my bill from AAA and they're really socking it to us. All right. Bro, another one that I like in the insurance space. Once again, made that high at 114 and then made this bull wedge pattern back to the 21. I was going to put this one on with Gallagher, but I'm just going to stay away from him for now. Anyway, that's it for the exciting group of aerospace defense and insurance. And I'm going to go to the even more exciting oil and gas stocks, YPF. I show you this just about every day the last couple of weeks, up another 4.5% today. Clear breakout from that base there. You got to like bases. I love bases. Stocks that consolidate in a base. And a study was done that the bigger the base, the higher in space is totally not true. You just need a base, any kind of a base. Flat base, 5-week flat base will do, cup with handle, cup, double bottom, it doesn't matter. You just need some sort of a base. And this one is really broken out from its base. So YPF, definitely a strong looking name. So yeah, something that sits in a 2-year base doesn't mean it's going higher. Closing range 96%. Very nice move for that one. BKR, I showed you this one yesterday. This is one of those machinery equipment. I think they provide equipment for drillers and wells. Anyway, this one ran up on earnings, I believe, up to 43.23, got a little bit ahead of itself, and now allowing the 5 to catch up, and then popped today 3.5% off the 5. So that's a nice move for Baker Hughes, WMB. This is Williams. Another, just riding the 5. There's not a lot of oil stocks doing really well, but there's this select few that are, I like that are doing well. Do I own them? No, not yet. I'm not going to. Anyway, it's not all about me. Double bottom base here. Obviously this one's been consolidating for a long time. Cup with handle, double bottom. Now it's starting to break out here. Up, 9% this week. We'll take that. 5.5% move today. So that's EQT. Oil and gas integrated. So, all right, I'm going to move on. Just to some random names, stocks that I like. Stocks that are, this one's showing signs of a high tight flag. This one pulled back, ran up, then pulled back prior to its earnings and ripped higher following its earnings. This looks like a high tide flag on the, which is rare that I would say that on the weekly chart. So one to watch. That's IONQ. The group is just miserable. This is the same group as SMCI and Dell and Hewlett Packard, Logitech, but this is one that's really doing well. I guess quantum computing is in. VRT. I'm just taking a random walk now at some stocks. This one made a big run yesterday, and I think this one was hit a little bit because of the POWL numbers and the POWL. When something in your group sells off 16%, when somebody sneezes, the others catch cold, maybe. Yeah, Vertiv. Some of these names here were down today based on the POWL, pull back to the 50. All right. VST is another one. VRT and VST are two that I really like. Once again, I did put this on the ready list yesterday, I believe, or the day before. I don't know. 143.87 pulled back there to the 5 after the run up. You can see a pullback here to the 111, ran up here, then pulled back to the 5, and then has popped from the 5. It was flat today. Nothing wrong with that. 155 still looks actionable to me. The top performing stock in the S&P 500. Probably window dress that one into the year end. ALAB, this is on my ready list. It pulled back once again, on the earnings day, it made this move up to 97.35, and the low of that day was 84.11. It flirted with 84.11 a couple of times last Friday. 85.01, so that's close enough for me. But 3 days this week, it's really bounced off its 5. It's made it up to 98.79 today. I think that 100 might provide resistance. Maybe it'll knock 3 times before blasting through there. Up to 99 after hours on the NVDA earnings, I think. Anyway, that's it for me. Thank you for watching at mcstockcharts.com. We never give up, except for in honor of the great Steve Jobs. I have one more thing. I've got to get to the most important earnings reports of the quarter here. Snowflake, yeah, had a good quarter, up 18% after hours. That could only help those software AI stocks tomorrow, I believe. It was a pretty strong quarter here. Their new CEO hitting it out of the park there. So an 18% move always helps. Palo Alto Networks, and they're doing the same thing they always do. They report earnings, they beat top and bottom, and then they sandbag their guidance, so they sell off. 5% is no big deal. Probably, I don't know. I think if it comes back to the 21 tomorrow, 381, maybe it'll close below it. Heck, it might even come back to the 50, 363. I don't know. It's the same thing they do, every quarter. They barely beat, slight beat, and then they lower the guide, not lower the guidance, they just sandbag their guidance. They don't raise significantly because they don't want to put that, expectations on themselves. So they put a number out there they know they can beat. So pretty well managed company. It's a cash cow. If you want to look at some of the balance sheet, return on equity, 56%. That's excellent. Cash flow, $6. A lot of things right with this one. Up, down volume, 1.4. Yeah, no debt. This is a well-run company. Probably trending higher. The beta is 1.28. And if you look longer term, it just depends on your time frames. Like I say, longer term, this is just a huge, huge, huge winner. So yeah, made a new high this week. I don't know. Ran up into earnings, so maybe a pullback. I don't know. It was fine. The numbers are fine. All companies can do is report their numbers, and then it's up to the market to decide. This is NVIDIA. Wow. Okay. It's up to 144 after hours. They reported once again a beat on EPS, a beat on revenue, a beat on margins. I didn't listen to the conference call. Maybe I'll do that tonight. But there's no, they did everything they were supposed to do. It's up to the market to decide what the valuation of this company is. It's, 3.6 trillion essentially. So I don't think the numbers are going to hurt the other semiconductor names. I don't know how much this is going to run up tomorrow. I would imagine, though, later on this week or next week, it's going to start pushing towards that 150 again. on that earnings report. And you can see it's moving around a lot tonight. Anyway, that's it for me at mcstockcharts.com. I'll have more in the morning. Tomorrow we have John Deere reporting. Not expecting a lot from them. Forward guidance, I think, is going to be kind of rough, but we'll have to wait and see. BJ Wholesale Club, yeah, based on I don't know, based on Costco, Walmart, and Target. You see it sold off with Target today. I don't know. I think BJ should be fine, right? And oh, Shoe Carnival. You know, I've forgotten about the shoes here for a while, but they report tomorrow. They've been selling off, not very strong, this group, even though retail sales are hot. Deckers has been one that's holding up, and I haven't looked at ONON in a while, but yeah, shoes doing okay. Not as bad as I did point out the XBI. The biotechs have been tough since the elections here, but maybe starting to bottom here and trickle back up. I did see a couple names that I like that I own. TGTX, ran up on those rumors, pulled back, and now it's closed back above the 5 today. So yeah, maybe the biotechs will start getting more love here. And as the market continues its uptrend, continues to rotate into different groups. And at mcstockcharts.com, we never give up. Have a great evening. Thank you for watching.